So before you start cutting, with any haircut you do, you want to make sure you comb it out, either brush the hair down. I like to comb the hair out when it comes to waves, because what this does, it lifts the hair off the scalp, making it easier for the hair to feed into the teeth of the blade. So when it comes to waves, you want to make sure you're combing in the right direction. If you don't know, I would advise you to ask your client, how do you brush your hair? That way you get an idea on which way to brush, because we brush in different angles. You really got to have an eye for different wave patterns to be able to understand. But yeah, the easiest way is just to ask your client how he brushes, so you could just imitate it. So my client asked me for a 1.5 on top. So I went ahead and grabbed my 1 guard with the lever open. And I'm also using my Andis Masters, you know, the black edition. These clippers take down bulk at a rapid rate, and I love using these clippers for that reason. So right now, I'm going with the grain of my client's pattern. The same way I combed is the same direction that I'm going in when I'm cutting it down. Also, my client told me that he had a cowlick in the front. So as you can see, I'm not really going all the way through with the clipper. I'm saving a little bit of room so I could attack it differently. So next, I'm gonna comb the hair down and go with a guard size higher. All right, I'm gonna go with the 2 guard with the lever in the middle, kinda, and just kind of taking that area down, you know, so it's not super low, so where you can't see that line in the cowlick. You know what I mean? In certain cases, I would go with the grain of the cowlick, but in this case, I just decided to go with a guard size higher. Next, I'm just gonna drop back down to my 1 guard with the lever open and kind of take off areas where I see too much bulk. Next, I'm gonna brush the hair down on the sides and work on the taper. He wants a high-low taper. Well, he actually didn't ask for a high-low taper. He just wanted it, you know, the taper to be as low as possible. So I went with a high-low taper. I felt like that would be a better look instead of bringing it too high like it was, like the previous barber did. So right now, I'm setting in my bald line using my Babyliss Prolifium FX trimmers, and I'm just setting it in real low. And after that, I'm gonna go back with my masters with the lever open, and I'm gonna go up about a 1/2 inch, making sure I go over that guideline multiple times so it's at that length. Now putting on the 1 guard with the lever open, again, I'm going up about a 1/2 inch, going over that guideline to ensure that it's at that length. The reason why you want to go over the guidelines is because you want to do less detailing after it's all over. So I'm not going to focus on any bulk that's on the top. I'm just going to work my way back down by blending downward, all right? All I did was close the lever on that 1 guard, and now I'm softening up that middle line. Putting on the 0 guard with the lever fully closed in a flick out motion, flick out that middle line. Now, keep in mind that I'm using my corners the entire time. It's a different motion than just setting in your guidelines. You know what I mean? It's a 1-2, real quick flick out motion. And lastly, as far as taking out these guidelines, with the lever fully closed in a flick out motion, flick out that bottom line. In this case, I like to use the full blade as I first try to take it out, but then as I detail, I'm only using the corners of my blade, and then I'm adjusting my lever as I go up. Now, because I have everything blended out, I'm able to really see the bulk that's on top. So I went ahead and grabbed my 2 guard, and with the lever fully closed, I'm just softening up that bulk at the top. Now I just put on my 1 guard with the lever open, and just continuing to focus on that bulk at the top, clearing it out as much as possible, even going with the grain just to smoothen things out instead of going against the grain. What this does, it actually lays the hair down, so that's an option too, to take out bulk. Now from here is just detailing, all right? Detail work. This is how well you can detail little small areas, taking out bulk. What I like to do is I like to refer to the mirror. The mirror shows me a different perspective on the blend than just seeing it head on. A lot of times we can get confused on what it looks like, so the mirror gives you another opportunity to see it differently. Also, if you don't have a mirror, I like to rest my eyes for a minute, come back to the blend. That also helps me, seeing the blend differently than just staring at it. Have you ever looked at something and just stared at it for so long, you kind of actually can't really see the detail in it? You know what I mean? You have to look away. You gotta give your mind something different to look at. Now, as far as working on the back, it's the same exact steps. The only thing different is you have more room to work with. I set in my bald line with my Pro Lithium FX trimmers. I debulk it, clear it out, going against the grain. You can also go against the grain when you set in your bald line. Me, I just like to make it as perfect as possible by setting it in directly. But if you're not good with, taking out that bottom line, I suggest you just go against the grain. Now switching over to my clippers, again, with the lever open, I'm going up about 1 inch, right? So it's a lot more room to work with, so I could go higher in the back. So I'm going about 1 inch, and I'm going over that guideline, so it's less work for me have to come behind and detail. Now going with the 1 guard, going up about 1 inch. I'm not really focusing on that do-rag line, as you guys can see. I'm just gonna, go over that just as if it, wasn't there. I'm not really paying attention to that until it's time to take out the bulk at the top. So right now, I'm just going over that guideline multiple times to ensure that it's at that length. Like I said, sometimes going with the grain knocks out bulk perfectly to get it to lay down. So that's what I did there. I'm also gonna close the lever right now and just soften up that middle line. That way it's easier to take it out with the next step. Next step being the 0 guard closed. In a flick out motion, flick out that middle line. You want to make sure you memorize these steps, all right? These steps should be embedded in your mind. That way you're not thinking or looking around trying to see what guard to choose next, all right? Just memorize these steps. That way when you go into it, the cut will come out faster. You'll move faster. You'll be more confident. So just memorize these steps. That's the best advice I can give when speeding up your time. Last guideline to take out is with the lever fully closed. In a flick out motion, flick out that bottom line. Remember to start below the line, flick to the line, and adjust your lever as you go up. And in the midst of this, I'm gonna detail my work as I go. But yeah, detailing is the most important part of getting that blend perfected. Now I'm gonna prep my client's lineup. By doing that, I'm using shaving cream basically just to, clean the skin as well as the front edge of his lineup, all right, the hair. What this is gonna do is gonna dry the skin, it's gonna clean the hair, all right? You wanna make sure the skin is dry, that way when you go to line it, you'll get that ash line, that crispy look that we want when we go to line someone up. Next, I'm gonna apply a hot towel to my client's head. We're gonna leave it on for like 5 minutes. What you wanna do, you wanna always check your wrist to see how hot that hot towel is, all right? Don't just apply it on your client's head. And also, I like to check with my clients and be like, hey, if it's too hot, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Always be ready to take that hot towel off. I like to leave it on for a good 3 to 4 minutes. You don't want to leave it on too long because you're going to eat up time. You know what I mean? Time is everything. So always be mindful of how long each process is. So when I take it off, I like to roll the hot towel, give me some handlebars, basically, some grips. That way I could go with the grain when I taking it off. You know what I mean? You don't want to just smother your front line and just kind of mess up his lineup. No, you always want to go with the grain, especially if your client has waves. Next, I'm going to blow dry it, make sure it's nice and dry. Then I'm gonna come behind it and spray it with some hairspray just to lock it in and make sure everything doesn't move when I go to line them up. And after I apply the hairspray, I'm also gonna go behind it and dry it again. That way everything is nice and stiff. So to any new barbers that's trying to learn how to line up and how to start, what you wanna do is start in the middle first. All right, that way it cuts out you having to go to a super long distance. Say if you start from the right to the left, that's too long to go. All right, to the left or the right. So what you want to do is start in the middle, go to the right or left, however you want to do it first, and then just kind of match it up as you go. All right, don't just start from one end to the other. That's just the wrong way. Doing it that way is going to get the line to be crooked, so you don't want to do that. Like I said, start in the middle. So to all my students out there, I have to say this, all right? Enhancements should be your enemy. Enhancements, you right now should be like, Jeezy, you using enhancements? Ah, man, you weak, bro. Y'all should be advocating for natural haircuts, all right? Especially if you're in school, all right? Me, I like to get it extra crispy. I do it, I know how to cut hair, so this is just taking it to a whole new level. You know what I mean? When I was in school, I wasn't really using enhancements either. You know what I mean? We was all on that. If you use enhancements, you ain't a real barber. But the moral of the story is learn how to really perfect the blend and that whole entire haircut before you start using any enhancements. So what I like to do as far as lining up around the ear is I like to use my corners, all right? Anytime you are going around a curve or anything like that, you want to use your corners. That way you could, shape whatever it is that you want little by little. You don't want to use that full blade because once you set in that full blade, that's a straight line. So around the curves, use your corners. gonna use more enhancements. All right, this is gonna make the lineup pop that much more. I'm using the white pencil because my client, he's light skinned, so if I use the brown, it's really not gonna show up like that. So that's why I'm using the white pencil. Some would say that this is makeup for men. You know what I mean? Some would say this. We are doing way too much. But hey, you know what I mean? I want to get it as crispy as possible. I charge a premium service, so I want to do this to make sure that people are getting what they asked for, getting the best cut possible. So when it comes to razor lining, it's all about stretching the skin and being confident with gliding that blade across the skin. When I first started out, it was kind of awkward. I really didn't know, you know what I mean, how that blade was going to react to the skin. But as you keep doing it, you're going to realize all I need to do is glide this blade across the skin and make sure that the hair is stretched. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. Took his taper up too high. I'm guessing his last barber wasn't a waiver, but we know when waivers cut waivers, but it ain't us. At the end of the day, got it, yeah! YouTube, this is the cut. And if you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also, HustleDreamProduction, that's my brother, he does all my beats. His YouTube channel will be linked in the description below. Make sure you guys go give him a follow. Also, if you want to know where you can find any tools that you seen in this video, links will be in the description below. Otherwise, you guys can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. My TikTok is official360Jeezy and my Instagram is 360Jeezy. But it's your boy 360Jeezy, and I'm out of here.